It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the movies of June 11th, 1993. And folks, we're starting off with the big one. We got 5 movies to look at, but this first one here, it's a movie that everybody is familiar with. It's the movie that changed the summer blockbuster as we know it. I think this shirt right here could give you an indication. I swear that was not this was not intentional. I completely didn't realize it until just as soon as I was recording that we were going to talk about this while I was wearing this shirt today. So you know what we're going to talk about. Let's go ahead and talk about not only the biggest new release of the weekend, the biggest release of the summer, the biggest release of the year, the biggest release of all time at that time. I'm, of course, talking about Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park.
There it is. Welcome to Jurassic Park. We've made living biological attractions so astounding that they'll capture the imagination of the entire planet.
The most phenomenal discovery of our time
How'd you do this?
becomes the greatest adventure of all time.
Can I touch it?
Sure.
Universal Pictures presents
Do you feel that?
Hold on to your butts.
a Steven Spielberg film.
This is a feeling all over the park.
Yeah, that's nice. Gotta go.
An adventure
I can't get Jurassic Park back online.
65 million years in the making. Jurassic Park.
You know what? Hold on 1 second, because we need to do this right. Give me 1 second. I don't know if you're going to see it, but we are talking about Jurassic Park, so that means I need to have this on. Because it's become a tradition when you talk about these movies, and honestly, Steven, let's see if I can do it this way. There we go. There we go. This is going to look absolutely ridiculous, but honestly, I kind of have to do it because, really, what more can you say about Jurassic Park that hasn't already been said? It's a great movie. Great movie with the visual effects that still very much hold up to this very day. Scenes that still hold up to this very day. I mean, the first scenes you see of the dinosaurs in this movie, like I said, they still hold up over 30 years later, and they're still magnificent to see. It's hard to believe that in the 30 years since this movie came out, this movie still has so many great moments in here that just still hold up to this very day. That first moment when they see the Brachiosaurus, I think it's the Brachiosaurus, Brontosaurus, Brachiosaurus, but the long-necked dinosaur, and it just looks amazing over all these years later. It's a moment that just still holds up, and that's what really makes. And that's really on Steven Spielberg overall, and that's why he's one of the great directors, because he can make these moments that just hold up after so many years. And it's just all over his movies. That's why I think many of us consider him the greatest director that's ever lived. And the movie overall is just a ton of fun. The action is still very good. The visuals are still very impressive. The characters are very likable. You like all these characters. Most of the characters, for the most part. There are moments where you get the stupid characters, but that's part of the fun of the movie. And you just, there's just so many great moments in this movie that still hold up all these years later. And I mean, you can't really go wrong with this movie at all. There are a lot of flaws to it, yes. But, you know what? They're fun, but the movie overall is very fun. It's a movie that still holds up all these years later. And, there's no denying that it's still the best movie in the entire series. As much as I like the Jurassic World trilogy overall, nothing tops the original film. This movie still holds up so many years later. It's a movie that I can watch any single time and get really sucked into it. It's just a great ton of fun. I mean, if you're not having fun during the rain scene in this movie where the T-Rex attacks the cars, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, but yeah, Jurassic Park is pretty damn good. I mean, is there anything more I really need to say about this movie that hasn't already been said already? It's just, it's a great movie. It's a great, great film. Still holds up many years later, and Like I said, it's one of the it's one of the highest grossing movies of all time for a reason. It's a movie that changed the game in terms of the summer blockbuster, how to do visual effects, and how to just have a massive film like this. It's just a great movie. It's just a great fun movie overall. I love it. You love it. What more can I say? With that said, let's move on to the next movie, and that next movie is the Tina Turner biopic. What's Love Got to Do with It? Now, let me see if I can pause this with this on. Nope, can't do it. My hand was literally close to the thing, and I don't think I was even close to it, honestly. But anyway, What's Love Got to Do with It is next.
All she ever had was her voice and her dreams.
Your mama had to go away for a while.
When is she coming back to get me?
She ain't, honey. She just ain't.
All she ever wanted was a chance to make her dreams come true.
Every woman in here want to sing with Ike's band.
Oh, please don't leave me, baby.
That girl can sing.
Girl, you shocked the hell out of me.
Say you want me to be his new singer.
Watch yourself. You know what they say about Ike.
Darling,
Yes, Tina.
I think it's gonna work out fine.
It's gonna work out fine.
Priceless, girl. Priceless.
She priceless, all right. She ain't seen a dime of it yet.
Everyone who's come up with me has left me.
I wouldn't do that.
What the problem is?
I'm trying to help Ike, all right?
You trying to help Ike?
You got yourself a good man. You just keep him happy.
1, 2, 3, 4.
She had given him everything he wanted.
You get this car, damn it. Get the car.
You can't keep hiding black eyes from us.
I just can't walk out.
She never stopped believing things would change.
I just need a rest.
She's quite ill, and I'm not releasing her for at least another 3 weeks. I need you to get out on that stage right now. You can't get away from me, and I'm in here.
But if she ever wanted to find her dreams,
When you can see yourself clearly, your life will change.
she had to start believing in herself.
I made you. You wasn't nothing without me, and you ain't gonna be nothing without me.
I'll give it all up. Just release the claim on my name.
Means you're going to walk out of here with absolutely nothing.
Except my name.
Touchstone Pictures presents the story of a remarkable woman who refused to give up.
I'm ready. I'm ready, and I know what I want.
What's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion?
So this is, of course, the story of the autobiography of Tina Turner, which is very interesting because this trailer never says Tina Turner until the very end of the trailer, which is interesting and on so many levels. But the movie overall is pretty good, and I think it works mostly because of the performances by Angela Bassett as Tina Turner and Lawrence Fishburne as Ike Turner. And I think these two really do carry the movie, and it's no wonder why they got nominated for Best Actress and Best Actor at the Academy Awards. And as far as the movie itself goes, it's overall okay. It's nothing that's really amazing. It's nothing that's really groundbreaking. It kind of falls into a lot of similar problems that a lot of these musical biopics do. I think they try a little too hard to dramatize many aspects of a story. And at least to this movie's credit, it doesn't go completely over the top like something like Bohemian Rhapsody and Elvis does, where it tries to be more of a crowd-pleasing movie. This movie at least tries to make the story very interesting while not trying to be a safe and marketable movie. Because that's what I think the biggest problem with something like Bohemian Rhapsody and Elvis were like. They were movies that were trying a little too hard to be mass marketed than actually try to tell a legitimately good story. But like I said, overall, it is a good movie. It has a lot of things about it that are really good. There are only just couple of little flaws here and there to make it kind of less than perfect. Is the best way to describe it. Like, it's so close to being a decent, one of the best biopics ever. But overall, it's like I said, it's a good movie. It's close to a great movie. I think where the really great things come from it are from Bassett and Fishburne. They're the two people who really bring this together in the best way possible. I think a better script could have easily made this one of the great biopics of all time. But you know what? For what it is, it's a pretty good movie overall. It's a movie that's very fun. Not very fun. There's things in this movie that are not very, very fun, but yeah, it's an overall good movie. It's a movie that I would recommend if you're looking for a good, solid biopic on Tina Turner's life. Even though it's funny that like Ike Turner didn't like the way that he was portrayed in this movie, and even Tina Turner herself did not like the way she was portrayed in this movie. That should tell you a lot when the person whose movie this is based on is even looking at this and going, this doesn't feel right. But like I said, a good movie overall. Mostly benefits from the two performances by Bassett and Fishburne. But overall, yeah, it's not real. It's a really good movie. Could be a great one. That could have been a great one though. So anyway, with that said, on to the next movie, and that is one of Sony Pictures Classic's earliest big releases, and that was Orlando.
It's really very good. I think it'll sell. By the way, how long did this draft take you?
There can be no doubt about his sex, despite the feminine appearance that every young man at the time aspires to.
Do not fade, Orlando. Do not grow old.
Sasha, I cannot think of a life without you.
I see. You're here as a casualty of love.
To me, you were and always will be, whether male or female, the pink, the pearl, and the perfection of your sex.
You can see for yourself what I was. No difference at all. Here I am again.
Here's a fun game. Take a shot every time Tilda Swinton looks straight into the camera. You will be drunk by the end of this movie. Like I said, this was one of the groundbreaking releases for Sony Pictures Classics. This was kind of their first major success. And you can kind of see why. It's a visually gorgeous-looking film. I make fun of the fact that Tilda Swinton mostly looks at the camera most of the time, but I mean, she's given it her all. She's given a really good performance as Orlando. And you got a great cast overall. Billy Zane in here. And it's an overall enjoyable movie. It's a very well-made film. Visually gorgeous to look at. Has a very compelling story. Does a good job of adapting the book for this, the Virginia Woolf book. And it's an overall very enjoyable film. It's a film that has a lot of visual flair to it. Has a lot of intriguing elements to it. And it is a pretty enjoyable film. And it branches out and it has a breakout performance by Tilda Swinton, who would later go on to win an Academy Award for Michael Clayton, and along with some other great movies in her career. But yeah, overall, this is a pretty solid film. It's a movie that I would recommend checking out. I know it was just re-released on 4K with the Sony Pictures Classic 20th anniversary, or 30th anniversary set, I should say. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that on 4K one day. So, excuse me. Anyway, that's Orlando. Now let's move on to a movie that's on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, and that is Romper Stomper.
We came to wreck everything.
Let me tell you something. I want you to listen to me, okay? This is not your country.
God sent us.
Well, I'm certainly glad that this movie is clearly dated and has no real impact on what's been going on in society over the last 30 years. Oh, oh boy, this movie is, it's something. It's something, alright. Now, I haven't seen the movie, I can't really comment on it, but just by that trailer alone, talk about a movie that's held up over the 30 years since it came out, because, whew, well, to the movie's credit, I mean, it's got some good reviews to it. It could be one of the more uncomfortable movies you'll ever see, and you get to see a young Russell Crowe in one of his early film roles, but, yeah, I can't imagine this movie having an influence over 30 years later, and, yeah, I wish I could go into more of it. Like I said, I haven't seen it. I can't really comment on it too much, but it's kind of hard not to look at it and think about the way the world has been in the 30 years since then. So, yeah, that's Romper Stomper, and I'm sorry I don't have too much more for you, but let's move on. Let's move on to the last movie that we have here, and that is Equinox.
Boys, who are they? Who did they turn out to be? How much do they know, if they know anything?
A shocking secret.
Get back! You understand me?
And we do know him?
No.
A terrifying world. And two brothers separated at birth.
So when this Matthew Modine plays identical twins, they live in this fictional city called Empire. They have no idea that they're related to each other, and then they eventually meet up, and it creates a lot of conflict between these two. I haven't seen the movie, so I can't really comment on it too much, but it looks pretty good. Matthew Modine playing a double role in this. You got Laura Flynn Boyle in here, Fred Ward, Marissa Tomei, Tate Donovan, Laurie Singer, Emmett Walsh. And it's got some decent reviews to it. Plus, it's Alan Rudolph. Alan Rudolph, we've talked about his movies before. He made Mortal Thoughts, which came out the year before. We've also talked about Love at Large. And he's a pretty good director overall. So I can't imagine this movie I can't imagine this movie not being somewhat enjoyable and somewhat well made. Yeah, it looks like it could be pretty good. So maybe one day I'll definitely check it out. But it's not something that's completely on my radar right now. But like I said, it looks pretty good, so that's Equinox for you. And so on that note, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. Next time we meet, we've got two more movies, including Arnold Schwarzenegger's big-budget bomb, Last Action Hero, which bombed back then, but is it really one of his worst movies, or one of his biggest bombs ever? Well, I guess, yeah, it's kind of one of his biggest bombs, but what I'm trying to say is it actually a good movie, is what I'm asking. Well, you're going to find out next time around. You might be surprised on what I have to say about this one. We also have 20th Century Fox's answer to Disney in terms of creating their own animated classic, which I don't know about that, but again, you might be surprised on what I have to say about Once Upon a Forest. But we'll talk about those two movies next time around. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time, and until then, as always, take care.